In its quest to provide an open forum for discussion of controversial issues, this station allows hosts and their guests to express themselves without any significant censorship. You are advised that any view expressed by the host or their guest are not necessarily the views of the owners or management of TogiNet Radio, Togi Entertainment, or the Owners Group, Inc.
It's time for Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues today, with Sandra Beck and Christy Holly. Ladies, Motherhood Talk Radio is here to give you a powerful platform by giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. Motherhood Talk Radio has interviews with best-selling authors, gurus of happiness, and women of interest who every single day make our world a better place for our families. Motherhood Talk Radio, powered by Motherhood Incorporated, is on the air now. Moms, this really is your show. Motherhood Talk Radio. And now, here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas, this is Sandra Beck, and I am here with Christy Holly and Doris Rivas-Brecki, and I'm having a great week, and it's so good that we have success coach Ivy Slater on, and she's the founder of Slater Success Coaching. She's going to come on second segment. Now, I know for many, many weeks, I have picked on Christy with her perfect wedding and her fairy lights and her, delightful little, shaped sandwiches that she makes.
I'm wondering where this is going.
Yeah, me too. I'm wondering, because it's like, here I am, my life's in the dog pound, single, 2 kids, mortgage up to my ears, poor me. But this week, it gets to be poor Christy for 1 week, and I don't mean to glorify your pain.
I'm so happy that I was like a mess this weekend. Yikes. Thank you, friend.
Oh, you're welcome, friend. No, I just.
You just love it.
I do. I
stop
do.
Smiling.
A year and a half, I'm smiling for other reasons, but a year and a half into this show of going, my life is just one fiasco after another, and why don't you tell us what happened?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, I went to a good friend of mine's birthday party, which was in Oceanside, which is, I don't know, it took us 3 hours to get there. We did get lost a couple times, but and we saw some old friends, so we stayed pretty late. We left there, I don't know, midnight. So we drove back, my mom, my sister, and I, and we get back to my mom's at 2:30 in the morning, and I'm like, okay, I'm going home. I'm not spending the night here. I got to go home. I got to let the dog out. The kids were spending the night with my mother-in-law. My husband was at work. So I'm, going home. I'm calling my mom as soon as I get home. She was worried. Well, I'm driving, and my car is it's feeling a little weird, which I've had problems with it a few days before, and we thought we fixed it. So I'm driving along on the 14 freeway, 2:30 in the morning.
Now, mind you, the 14 freeway, for those of you listening at home, it's dark. It's not lit. It goes up a 5,000-foot mountain. It's 4 lanes of speeding 80-mile-an-hour traffic. It's basically the death chute.
It is scary. Well, so my car, I'm like, it's chugging all of a sudden, pulling. I'm like, oh, God. And I'm trying to get over a little bit. I was in the slower lane, thank goodness. And all of a sudden, I couldn't get any power. I'm pushing the gas down and no power. I'm like, oh, my God. I pulled over. Of course, I missed the big shoulder area. And I pulled in this, tiny little area, and my car just died.
Completely?
It completely just shut off.
In German, das kaputt?
Yes,
das kaputt. Oh, no.
It was I didn't know what to do. I'm like, oh, my God. I had AAA, but I'm like, where am I going to go? Which, thankfully, my sister's house was off that next off-ramp.
Oh.
Thank God. So I'm like, I don't want to call and wake her up. And
no, I'd rather just stay on the side of the freeway and get run over.
I was like, do I get in? Do I stay out? Blah, blah, blah. What do I do? Do I wait for AAA? what will I do? So I was like so scared because these cars just whizzing by.
They do.
And I was like on the line, it was like I was in a tiny little lane, like off the side. There wasn't.
You didn't get over to the side of the road.
I got over to the side, but there wasn't much of a shoulder.
Oh, there wasn't much of a shoulder. Yeah.
So I was sort of freaking out, and then of course I was like, called my mom.
I'm sure that made her feel
wonderful.
Well,
she was waiting for my call anyway.
Yes,
so
I know.
So she's like, well, do you want me to come get you? I'm like, no. So I did end up texting my sister, and she's, do you want me to come get you? I tried turning my car on, after, 20 minutes, and it turned on. So I decided I'm going to try and drive it. My sister's was probably like 2 miles away.
Okay.
And I made it. And I was like, thank goodness. I slept there. I thought, I'm not going to call my husband and worry him at, 3:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock, whatever time it was.
Fires. He's got
he's sleeping. About. Am I going to wake him up? Well, so I finally go to sleep, wake up, call him because he was going to get an overtime day. I tell him, the car's broke down. Can you stop by and get me? And he was so mad at me.
Why?
Because I didn't, call him in the morning or text him. I'm like, I thought I would wake you up. I didn't want to worry you.
Right, and you were safe, and everything was fine.
It was awful. He was so mad because it was so hot, and it was 9:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock, and it was blazing hot, sweating. Well, he for some reason thought he was going to just get the car, and he was going to follow me home in my car.
Uh-huh.
And I was crying. I was so upset, and he's just so mad, and just upset. Because he, something happened at work, and he was just upset.
Okay. So he wasn't really upset with you.
Yeah, it was just the situation.
It out on you.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Well, I'll tell you, at least he was upset with you. When my ex-husband, I disappeared one night with the kids with a big disaster. And I texted him, didn't answer, all this stuff he could care less, which is why we're not married anymore. But so be thankful, that he cares enough to care where you are. Oh. Even if he is taking it out on you. All right, go ahead, Fairy Lights. Keep going, Fairy Lights.
I know. Well, then, so the car dies in the driveway while he's trying to get out, so he's just even madder than, and he's, pushing my Suburban with his little truck, just, metal to metal, pushing it, and it was just, we had to have it towed, to our house. Of course, we don't have unlimited AAA because, yeah, so it's $10 a mile. Yes. So 100 miles for 10 miles, $100 for 10 miles. So, he thinks he's got it figured out. When he gets to our house, it ends up being towed. So it's at the shop right now. I have his truck. It's just a nightmare.
Oh, it is. It is. I'm so sorry that I was gleefully delighted over it, but I'm not really.
I'm like, hello, are you going to say you're sorry? Are you going to say...
Me?
Not you.
I'm sorry.
No, not you.
Oh.
I'm like my husband. Hey, babe, I'm glad you're okay. That whole thing.
Right. I don't want you're not a potato pancake on the 14 freeway.
I know. And it was like, did you really think that I'm so happy that this is the way my day is going?
That's true.
Because he's like, I'm just having a bad day. And I'm like, well,
and
I think, what? I might be having a little bit of a bad day, too.
I love that. Not that I love that you're having a bad day, but it's so funny because you just go, okay, you're stuck on the freeway, 2 o'clock in the morning, very frightening, dark, mountainous road. Yes, you had support system around, but at some point, I got a bad day going on here too, honey.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't sleep, but I just was like, oh my gosh, he's waiting around for an overtime day, didn't get one, and I was like, okay, I'll figure it out.
Right,
I just roll with it because that's what I do. I'll figure it out. And he just wanted to get it taken care of right then and there.
But, that's a big part of success and managing success is really prioritizing what needs to get done and getting it done and not letting your emotions get in the way. That's like crisis management 101. And it's very funny that I'm just going to say someone does a certain job for a living versus someone being a stay-at-home mom and who has managed the crisis. But it stands to reason, and I always will say this, the moms that come to work for my company do not value the skills they learn in the household management of things, they think that it doesn't have any value or practical application as if, somebody who's got these work skills. But
right.
I'll tell you, you take these stay-at-home moms, you work them in my company, they are cool as cucumbers under stress. They can multitask, they can prioritize, and they can handle an emergency because that's all about raising kids.
Yeah, that happens on a daily basis.
Nobody else, right? But there's nobody else. It's like you said, at 2:00 in the morning, you're like, okay, I got the kids here. All that management that went in just for you to go down to Oceanside, requires a huge effort.
Right. It did.
Yes. So I'm gleefully delighted in your misfortune. But as your friend, I am super proud of the way you handled a crisis.
Why, thank you.
Yes, very proud of you. All right, so we're going to go to Doris right now because Doris has some great information on our Motherhood Minute. You can have more than a minute, though. It's okay.
Thank you.
You could have 3 if you want.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Christy.
Hello.
Anyway, I think this report will be of great interest to many of our mothers here in the United States, but it will also shock and sadden. Here is a motherhood news moment, news you can use. ABC World News is featuring a segment for the next week called Hunger at Home, the exploding crisis here in the United States and what Americans are doing about it. The following numbers are shocking but true. 1 in 6 Americans don't have enough to eat. 1 in 4 American children wake up not knowing if they will have food they need for the day. The current recession has pushed 2.4 million more children into the poverty ranks. 17 million children are what is being called food insecure. 5.5 million children live in families who have lost their homes to foreclosure. 8 million children live in families where at least one parent has lost their job. A spokesperson for the Annie E. Casey Foundation says, quote, "You don't see the extended stomachs like you see on the starving African children, but you see the saddest eyes. You see the sadness in the eyes of hungry American children," unquote. Since this reporting has appeared a few days ago on ABC World News, viewers have sent in over $132,000, which is enough to feed 1 million American children. ABC is asking people, if you want to help with this situation, you can text the word FEED, that's feed, to the number 50555 to give $10. You reply yes, or you go to abcnews.com for details on how to help. Texting will help get money to buy food in your community for those who need help, and it will help supply the feed banks across the country. This is Motherhood News, news you can use. I'm Doris Rivas-Brecky. Back to you, Sandra.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these. The Trick to Getting Published with your host, Florence Blake. Friday nights at 9, 8 Central on TogiNet.com. Flo has seen it, done it, and now can share from her experiences as a newspaper staff reporter, feature writer, freelance editor, and college writing instructor. And now Flo has authored a system whereby her students enjoy a 90% success rate in attaining publication of their manuscripts for the first time. In just 4 years, she has over 800 of her own articles published in national magazines, newspapers, and anthologies. Author of several books, including the powerful memoir, The Sicilian Nobleman's Daughter, Florence has advised and edited professors, deans, PhDs, and hundreds of students' writings before submission. And now it's your turn. Join us Friday nights with your questions. Most of Flo's students say they've learned much and thoroughly enjoyed the journey. It's The Trick to Getting Published with your host, Flo Blake. Friday nights at 9, 8 Central on TogiNet.com. Get ready for the Not So Soccer Mom, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central on TogiNet with Jill Hickey. You name it, from politics to pop culture to Jill's search for the perfect bronzer and chicken salad. The Not So Soccer Mom will weigh in on it all. The sentence, "I have no opinion about that," is one that Jill has never uttered.
Everybody loves Jill.
In the early 90s, Jill finally decided to put her thoughts, opinions, mom advice, love of pop culture, hummus, and Starbucks, working out, cosmetic shopping, and politics into an actual website, and thus NotSoSoccerMom.com was born. Shortly after her fourth child, a boy, Jerome, now she's really got tons of topics to share with you. This is Laugh Out Loud Funny, and we're not kidding. What's a loud Nebraska girl who lived in Little Rock for many years and now is up in the Northeast doing? Chronicling her opinions on everything. The wheels aren't off yet, but it's close. It's the Not So Soccer Mom with Jill Hickey, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Back and Christy Holly.
Hey. Hey, mamas. Oh, my gosh. You know, I have so much fun running this radio show, talking here all by myself while Rick and Christy enjoy whatever nonsense they do at the break, which seems to never come to airtime except for things like, what did you say, onion foot? Toe. Onion toe. I don't even pretend to understand.
I'm not going to explain it.
Okay, half the things that go on in this office, you know, all we know, suffice it to say, is that I am Sandra Beck with my lovely co-host, Christy Holly, and her onion toe, along with Doris Rivas-Brecky, her Motherhood Minute. And then we have segment producer Rick Swanson chiming in. And, boy, we're just not going to even go anywhere with that at this point.
Great.
Okay. Back to the show
Back
at
to
hand.
The show.
Show at hand.
Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing, Christy. We have as today's guest Ivy Slater, and she is the founder of Slater Success Coaching. She's a successful businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. She's the former president of Slater Graphics, which was a promotional printing company. She's the wife and mother of 2 teenagers. She's a great daughter. And she is the kind of woman that we just go, oh, because she's,
like, how do you get to be that?
5'2". She's 5'2". She's this tiny little package. You know, for those of you listening today, Christy and I are not. We're kind of tall.
We're 5'7".
Yes, we are tall California blondes. But these powerful women in little tiny packages, like Carolyn Blashak or Robin Boyd, you know,
right.
You know, even Belen Medrano, who works for me. They're these tiny little women in these just amazing powerhouse packages. So, you know, I hate to fixate on that for Ivy because she's many wonderful things, but I like to tease her, and I love having women on like her because she was a dance major in college, and somebody who takes something like dance and brings it into like the creative art and then pulls it into, you know, she's got her bachelor's in communication. I mean, I just love people who pull, you know, seemingly random things together and make something amazing about it.
Right.
All right, Ivy, are you here? Ivy?
Yes, I'm here. I'm putting on my heels, my high heels, so I can keep up with you girls.
Are you? Yes, please. Put the Manolos on before you come on the show.
I was feeling rather small and inadequate there for a moment.
Oh,
no. We're giants.
Yes, we're giants. We're just like big, giant, blonde radio show hosts. So we're so happy that you're with us today. And you got to answer to me, how do you take dance and put it into success coaching? Like, how do you get from one to the other?
You put a lot of years of legwork. On a more serious note, how do you take dance? I was a dancer from when I was 3 to 5 years old. It's in my heart. It's in my soul. I still exercise religiously. But as you pointed out, Sandra, I am 5'2", and I am 5'2" with very little leg. I have no voice as far as singing. And it wasn't going anywhere. I'm also a woman who appreciates success and appreciates earning money. So
right on.
There was a conundrum there. hence, that's why I got also my Bachelor of Arts in Communications and took that forward, and I meandered through, finding my path. And I went with what was right at the time. And that's a large part of it, is sticking with the gut. And I had a very successful printing business for over 15, close to 20 years. And a few years ago, it just wasn't right anymore. And that's when I had to wake up and I said, I'm not happy. And a childhood friend of mine said, when I had my first child over 19 years ago, a happy mommy is a happy home. And I truly lived by it. And when I realized I just wasn't content and I wasn't happy any longer, I was no longer fulfilled with what I was doing, I needed to make a change. And hence came the coaching. It was kind of, I thought I was going to just coach moms, and then in the realization, I went back to school. I kept my business going. I explained to my kids how I was going to have homework after my work, like they had homework after school, and we would all sit down together and do our work. So there was family support around it, which I believe is important. Coaching came naturally because what worked with me in printing was communicating. And what worked with me in printing in my other portions of my career is listening to what a client needs. And that's the heart of coaching, is that listening skill.
It's true. It's true. And what I like about, what you're saying is that, you didn't wake up one morning going, I want to be an ER nurse, and everything unfolded properly after that, which most of us don't have that. You've kind of, wandered around, things before arriving at where you are. Do you think that helps most women, particularly, especially those that are thinking of changing a career or are having children and then find that, they're still a part of them as much as they love their children, that's a little bit unsatisfied?
Absolutely. You really, life is a journey. I know that's a cliche at this point in time, but life is a journey, and every job you take from it what benefits you. It's the same way as, people will make a point of an at-home mom is a full-time job. Being at home with 2 kids is a full-time job. There are huge skills involved in that. So whether you're looking to go back to work part-time, whether you're looking to have a full-time career, you have to make a list of the skills that you love from all your jobs. Going back to when you were in college, and you might have, in college at night, one of my jobs was I closed out a candy concession. By the way, I love candy, and I happen to like money. It kind of was a great job. What worked for me there? You take all the pieces forward, and you add it up and say, where do all these skills, what can I do with it? And how whatever I do will keep me content and happy and fulfilled.
Well, and that's really hard, Ivy. I'm like most women these days, where I'm kind of sandwiched sometimes between elder care issues and child care issues. I'm in between. I don't know. Sometimes I call it like a sandwich. I feel like I'm in the sandwich of care. There's times in my life where I have a lot of responsibility with my parents, and then of course I have a continual responsibility with my kids. Being sandwiched in there is also now a really big part of what women face, whether they're stay-at-home moms, working moms, that whole sandwich generation where we're really stretched thin in both directions.
It's a difficult place to be, and I'm in it myself. My mother is turning 80 this year, and we're all very happy to celebrate, but last year was not a great year for her, and it stretched me. It stretched, what can I do? And, that's something I take forward to offer others. Okay, how did I manage it? Well, I knew who the support team was, for my mother. I know who the support team is for my children. And even with that, I have to know who the support team is with me. So when I'm running and about to hit that brick wall that, I collapse on, I have a couple of key work associates and girlfriends who look at me and say, Ivy, what's going on? How can we help you?
That's really important because you're able to reach out. I think as stay-at-home moms, Christy, and correct me if I'm wrong, it feels sometimes almost like a failure to reach out because you're supposed to be able to do all this stuff.
Yes, it totally does because, I don't know if it's just from, which my mom did everything, and she...
Mine too.
Everything. She sewed, she baked, she cooked, the cleaning was not on the great side, but, everything else. She took everybody everywhere. So, my mom. It was hard to, I grew up thinking, I'd like to be like my mom.
Right, there's a lot of pressure.
She never really asked for any help. Her mom was around for a little while, and she, passed away early, but that was... Right, that was it. She just did it, and she had two sets of kids because my sister and I are older than my younger set of siblings. So she has been doing it for so long, and she still comes to our rescue at 43 and 40 and 30 and 25. So I don't know. It's rough.
It is rough. So, Ivy, what do you tell somebody who has that feeling of, like my mom did all this stuff and, and I just can't do what my mom did?
You know what? Our lives are different. Our world is different. In demographics and geography, our world, our network is bigger. Even as a stay-at-home mom, you're traveling further. Our communities when we grew up were much smaller, which were easier. And there were also natural supports with your neighbors and kids in the neighborhood. You can have your kids outside. You can't have that now. So although we want to be like our mothers, what we want is the essence of what our mothers taught us and gave us. And we have to adapt that to the world and society we're living in, which doesn't mean you can let your kids just play outside anymore. And where our mothers we were allowed to do that, we can't. We need to be there, but we need to be here and we need to be there, hence the support. And hence where you take the essence of what we learned from our moms and take it into our generation and take the best of what they taught us and modernize it a little.
Well, and I think, too, we kind of have to cut ourselves some slack. Like I look at Christy, I look at me, I look at all we do every day. And not that my mom didn't do an equal amount, but you're right. She, when we got too much, she would send us out to run in the woods, and, we would go throw apples at each other, poke around in the stream in the pond near our house. And, we would just run for hours. And, we can't do that anymore in our, current situation. And I think you're right in letting us have some slack. That's different time, different generation, pretty much different everything. My name is Sandra Beck. I'm the host of Motherhood Talk Radio, along with Christy Holly and Doris Rivas-Brecky. I want you guys to check us out on iTunes under motherhoodtalkradio.com. You can also head to our website, which is www.motherhoodtalkradio.com, and we have a Facebook fan page that you can sign up for. So let's talk more about you after the break.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these. Congratulations on being the proud owner of an adorable, soft, cuddly, sweet-smelling, smiling, cooing, hungry, tired, gassy, screaming little bundle of joy. So now what? Where's the owner's manual for this thing? Where are my instructions? Right here. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet.com. Infant care specialist Blythe Lipman has worked with babies for over 20 years and works extensively with new parents, providing workshops, in-home visits, tips, and daily phone calls to ease those frazzled nerves. With Baby and Toddler Instructions, you can get the advice you need on how to survive and enjoy your baby's first year. For more information on Blythe and how she can help you, go to babyinstructions.com. From 32 ways to stop a baby from crying to 14 ways to get a baby to eat and so much more. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet.com. Hey moms, get ready for Living the Dream Mom with Nina Fry. Thursday mornings at 10, 9 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Living the Dream Mom is about the true realities of motherhood, the beauty and the rewards of watching your children grow.
All these moms have something in common. They put their kids first. It's not about the kids all the time and the diapers and the bottles and the breastfeeding. It's about showcasing the mother in motherhood, real moms in the real world. You get it? Now that's what the show is about. So every week, let's get together and we'll share these great stories with you guys. And I hope by the end of the show, you'll be saying, you know what? That is my life. Nina gets it. And I can't hardly wait to see what she brings me next week.
Don't miss the next Living the Dream Mom. It's real moms in the real world. Thursday mornings at 10, 9 a.m. Central. Living the Dream Mom with Nina Fry on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Christy Holly and our Motherhood Minute reporter, Doris Rivas-Brecky. Our guest today is Ivy Slater, and she owns a coaching company, a success coaching company that began coaching moms and has expanded, and we're lucky to have her with us today as we explore some of the conditions that affect us as mothers. And one of the topics I'd like to throw out, Christy, to you, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, I know when I worked down in Beverly Hills and I had like an hour drive home, sometimes with the kids, sometimes without the kids, that gave me like a nice buffer and break, till I started kind of the mom part of my day.
To get ready for it?
To get ready for it. But now what I found, my offices are in my home now, and I'm only a hallway away from, working mom. Stan is like a hallway away from, full-time mom. It's a very difficult transition for me to reset from one entirely different mindset, which is like talking to my clients, being on the radio, going and doing and thinking, and then I have to transition, whether it's somebody walking in the door from something or for me just going down the hallway. It's a struggle for me to quickly reset into my new job, my new role. And that's me as a full-time working mom. Christy, what do you feel as a part-time working mom? You're a full-time working mom as a mom, but, just answer it.
Well, I think that, that happens to me, too. It's that I don't always get a reentry time, to reenter being a full-time mom when I go and I do, my little jobs, my little part-time jobs, right when I walk in the door, the kids are like, Mom, I need this, Mom, do this, I need this. And it's really, really rough to just sink right back into that when I've been gone for, sometimes it's only a few hours, sometimes it's 5 or 6 hours, but the minute I walk in the
somebody's there.
door,
you're not walking and the kids are there by themselves.
No. Their dad will be there, and he'll be sitting there or whatever, and they'll, ask me to get them, water or a sandwich or something, and I'm just like, hello, I need just a minute, just a minute to get reset, but I don't usually get that. So I just don't know how to do that or how to ask my husband to help me do that.
Or like in my case where there is nobody to ask, it's like Anna goes out the door and then immediately, and sometimes there's like that little bit of transition where I'm still trying to do work and I'm trying to manage the kids. It's really psychologically draining. I get a headache sometimes. My brain gets tired. It's already kind of tired from the work day, but then like the kids are like, Mom, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. And it's almost like we should do it to the Iraqis because we'd win the war. Just throw them off their game. Ivy, help.
This was the comedy routine in our house when I'm working in the house in the last year and a half. Before that, I worked out of the house for close to 20 years. So when I would come in, it would be mommy, mommy, mommy. right? And I would be in my business suit with my heels because I am 5'2", and I was just like, I just need a minute, but mom, but I just need a minute, but mom. And they would trail me wherever I went. If I was in the bathroom and I'd say, no, I need a minute, and shut the door, I'd get notes under the door.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And then
oh my gosh, my son, I just have to do a quick aside. I told my older son, you cannot come into the office when I'm doing my radio show. You have to ask Anna, you have to ask Anna Rosa, whoever's in the house, please help ask them. So what he did was one show, he opened the door on Military Mom, and he had his little remote control car that had a Post-it note on it that said, I want milk, and he drove it into me. But they need.
And it was very frustrating because my husband would walk in and they would say, hi, Dad, whatever, and he would say, I need 5 minutes to get undressed, and that was acceptable.
Yeah,
and it
why
would
did
drive
they do
me
that?
crazy. It drove me crazy. And so then I needed to create something that I detoxed. Because I was really starting to go insane. I was batting my head against the wall. I was begging and pleading, you got to give me 5 minutes, you got to give me 5 minutes. So on my way home from work, I either went to work out or I went to do yoga. And I said, from now on I'm going to be a half hour late. And I left work like a half hour early. Like I slipped in this little mini class, right, that, if it was just a meditation, if I sat on a park bench, that would work to just transition me. But now I'm on the other side and I'm working from home. So it's not me walking in the door. It's being prepared when they walk in the door, or better yet, bombard the door. And, I'm really going to regret saying this, but it's train. Don't stop asking and following through. So, it goes back to when they're younger and they're potty training. Then you go through, you have to train them to do their homework after school. You have to create new habits and new routines. Well, you need to absolutely demand a routine that includes you. And that's nothing wrong with your kids. I'm just saying it's for you. You need to say, okay, from now on, when I come home, I get 5 minutes. So you walk in the door and you say, guys, I'm here. I got my 5 minutes, 6 o'clock. See you at 6:05.
All right, maybe put the microwave on because we got little ones. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Put something, give them something to learn from and something that they take forward. So when they're little, they have to understand, okay, we're putting the timer on. Mommy gets 5 minutes. Because guess what? Mommy's going to be a better mommy if we institute this. Because we're not going to be shrieking at them 15 minutes later.
That's true, and it does take time. I know for me, one of the things the problems that I was having with my kids, because they're supposed to be with the dad 50% of the time, and that just never happens. But by 8 o'clock at night, I'm shot, and I need to just take a bath, close my eyes for even 15 minutes, and just have no sensory input whatsoever. And I couldn't put my foot down until my 4-year-old did the giant cannonball on top of me in the jacuzzi tub, and water went everywhere. I swear I almost tossed him out the window, and I thought, you know what, this is not good parenting.
What?
So what?
It took me a whole month, though, to retrain them that when Mom's in the tub, you guys watch TV, stay out, unless you're missing a limb and it's bleeding, you don't come in.
And you know what? Give them something of their own during that time. So you're saying you want a special time for you, and you create a special time for them. Maybe that's the time that they get to watch a little television. Maybe it's the time they're going to do their reading, and read books by themselves, and then you're going to come and read with them when you're done. So they have something to look forward to.
So that's valuable to all parties. It's not just, kids, get out of here.
No, it has to be a win-win, and they have to feel that they are not being pushed aside, but they're engaging in this, private special time. Well, this is Mommy's private special time, and this is Charlie's private special time. So we're all going to get it, and then we can share together.
So typically in families like mine and Christy's, Christy, yours are, 4, 6, and 8, and mine are 5 and 8. How long do you think it takes to retrain the troops?
Every family is different and every child is different. I could tell you I have a 19-year-old daughter, and when she comes from college, we go into retraining mode. She walks in the door, but Mom, I'm like, I'm working 10 minutes. I have to finish something. But Mom, it'll just be a minute. But Mom, it for a 19-year-old, it takes 2 to 3 days. So for a younger child, we could, right, no, it shouldn't be forever. And if you give them something of their own during that time, that's the key, that it's a family I need. So if Mommy comes home, if it's 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, or whatever, and you have groceries and you've just been harried, either engage the kids in the game of putting things away or create something for them to do during that time. I brought something special home for you, so let's put the timer on. I need 10 minutes to get all this away, and then we can see it. What do you want to do in your 10 minutes? And again, a 4-year-old needs more instruction than the 8-year-old on that.
Right. So yelling fire in the hole and running out is an option.
Right. This wouldn't be a good time to take 10 minutes to jump off the top bunk of the bunk bed.
No.
So, engage them have them have their own thing. So have their own activities and have their special time.
And this is part of the self-care that you talk about and you teach our moms and teach your clients. Part of that self-care is carving out that time you need to get your sanity back.
Well, most of my clients are working women, and the majority of them, there's an enormous amount of working mothers. And if we don't take care of ourselves, who's going to take care of everyone else? Being as we are the sandwich generation, we have a lot of people to take care of. So, I talk a lot about having a calendar and actually putting your own time, so putting your jacuzzi time into that calendar that it's scheduled for 8 o'clock every night. Putting, your manicure into that calendar if that's something you enjoy, that you really take care of yourself. If you're into exercise, walk with your girlfriend. Meet somebody at a gym. Engage in something that is for you.
Right.
Because then we have so much more to give everybody else.
It's true, and I think we just kind of get really run down, and we get in our routine. And honestly, some days I just get in survival mode. Me too. It's just put your head down, get through, just try not to get hit in the brain.
You know what?
Not again.
I'm going to say I do too. By far I am not the perfect specimen of anything. But the idea is when we know oh my God, it's one of those days we need to go into survival mode, then at the end of that day, you take out that calendar, and if it's on Wednesday, you plan something for Friday or Saturday for you.
I think, Ivy, that's a great, great idea. I'm going to take us on to commercial break. And speaking of breaks, I want you guys to think of one thing. Like when we take a job, like a cashier or a bank teller, it's like all these jobs have a break put in. Like, oh, it's break time, Go take your break. There's like no break time unless we put it in as mothers. And I think that's one of the things that resonated with me so clearly with our guest today, which is Ivy Slater of Slater Coaching. My name is Sandra Beck. I'm here with Christy Holly, Doris Rivas-Brucky, and we'll have more great mom information after the break.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these.
People think I've made it. I'm popular. I seem happy all the time. I have great clothes and I'm involved in everything. But I have questions, doubts, and fears, just like every other teenager. That's why I'm glad for Teen Talk Radio, where it's all about choices.
Join us for Teen Talk Radio with Nicole Odell, Thursday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com.
The choices we have to make that can alter the course of our lives. Life is too much pressure if we try to go it alone. I tune in to Teen Talk Radio with Nicole Odell every week to get reminded that I'm not alone. Nicole Odell is an expert on what happens in the lives of teenagers. Join her as she deals with topics like peer pressure, purity, drugs, alcohol, and many other things that might come up along the way. She writes books and speaks to people all over the place, but she says her favorite moments are when she can pull up a chair and chat with teens about what's important to us.
For more information on Nicole and her books, go to NicoleOdell.com. Then join us for Teen Talk Radio with Nicole Odell, Thursday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com.
Teen Talk Radio, where it's all about choices.
I am not the woman I used to be. I'm free with Minister Diane Jones. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet. This is your chance, ladies, to hear stories of hope and healing from someone who's been there. Someone who has fought back from the horrors of incest. Minister Diane's innocence was stolen from her in the land of alcoholism and mental illness, which led to her being emotionally, physically, and sexually abused by her parents. Yet in spite of this trauma, she has gone on to become a successful wife, mother, registered nurse, and minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm not the woman I used to be. I'm Free is a straight-up show to enlighten you and to lighten your load. Do not let the weight of this world or the things that have happened to you control your life. For more on the show and Diane and her book, The Story of Me, email her directly from her show page here on TogiNet. Then, join us for I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Christy Holly. Christy, when I brought up that most jobs get a break, what did you say?
I was like, yes, they do. Most jobs get, or at least when I used to work, we'd get 2 breaks, 15-minute breaks, and an hour lunch, and I was just like, what the, what the heck? Because
what the holy cow, Batman, where's our break?
Oh, my God, because you don't get anything like that. It's like I was just thinking when I fix dinner or something, the kids are like, Mom, 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 and I get them their dinner, and then before I can get mine, after I cut everybody's stuff up, I sit down to eat, and they're like, Mom, Mom, I want milk. Mom, Mom, I want some more. I want, so my stuff is always cold. I was just like, there's no breaks. There is no breaks. Not really. No. That's why I can't wait till everyone's in school.
Me too. 1 week and counting.
Well, next year for me is when Nick goes all day. Yeah. And then I'll have that. I'll probably have to get a job, but
okay.
I still get breaks. I know.
Oh, Ivy, what are we going to do? First of all, before you solve all the problems that Christy and I have on a regular basis, let's talk about how people can reach you and what cool things you have coming up in your practice.
Okay, great. First of all, I am happy to chime in on breaks because I think they're totally important. And if we don't create them for ourselves, they don't happen. But how you can connect with me is connect with Slater Success Coaching. It's www.slatersuccesscoaching.com. My new website relaunched, our new look, the end of July, which was very exciting. Once you go to the website, what's great is you could download a free report, which is 7 Mandatory Success Secrets for Women in Business, and there's a audio report for the 3 myths about business success every professional woman must know. The other thing is if you register for the website and you come on and become my friend, you get my newsletters. And one thing I'm just starting to work on, which I'm very excited about, is I'm going to be doing a teleclass towards the end of September on the relationship of women and money, because it is a relationship. And there's tricks and there's how we were raised and all this information that we're going to talk about. It's a very informative teleclass, and we're going to cover a lot, and that's coming up at the end of September. So come log on, get the information, get my newsletters, and come join me on the teleclass.
I think that's really cool. So you got to sign up, me and Christy.
Yes, please.
For starters. And so how do we raise children, Ivy? How do we get through it day in and day out? What's your best practices?
Take care of yourself.
Just fly me free, kids. See you in 20 years.
I think we're done now. Truly, going back to a happy mom is a happy family. So and we touched on really self-care, but I'm not kidding. You know, we're looking forward to going to work just so we could have a lunch break, so you could actually sit and eat an entire salad, you know, uninterrupted, unless you choose to interrupt yourself.
Right.
You know,
it's
as
true.
opposed to, like, you know, eating so quickly or you know, forgetting to eat or
scraping the bottom of the, you know, the SpaghettiOs pan.
Right.
For me.
You said SpaghettiOs. My image was mac and cheese, like the cold mac and cheese at the bottom of the pot. It's like,
congealed, yes.
Lunch.
Thanks.
Really, we have to put ourselves in our own calendar. I'm not going to back down on it. I'm not going to negotiate on it. I think it's totally important that if we're working, we have a work calendar. Then we have our kids' school calendar. Then we have the family calendar, right?
Yes.
What happened to our calendar?
Oh, we don't exist, Ivy. We disappeared long ago.
Right. So if we combine it all into one calendar, okay, so if you kind of like multitask here a little, which nobody but a mom can do well, you multitask and actually program yourself. You make the commitment is, I am going to give myself 1 hour a week. I am going to give myself 3 30-minute segments a week. I am going to meet somebody, an adult, and have an adult lunch 1 day a month. You know, we have to be practical. Lives are busy. Work is busy. Our kids' lives are busy. There's a lot to do. But if we don't actually program it into our calendar, it stays in our head like one day we're going to. By writing it down and making the commitment, typing it into your BlackBerry, your iPhone, you're actually making the commitment and make the plan. Therefore, you have the ability to do it. And it gets out of the one-day zone.
Yeah, and I'm going to chime in. There's all these online calendars you can use. Like I use the Google app calendar. These free online calendars like Cozy, COZI.com, Famundo, that one I used for a while, FAMUNDO. I'm just going to tell you guys, you're going to sit there and you're going to enter everybody's calendar stuff in there, and it's going to take you like 3 hours, and then it's going to spit out this thing that's going to freak you out like nothing you have ever seen in a horror movie. No, I know they're designed to make it look good, but when I even open my Google Apps calendar, you know, which has all the kids' stuff on it, and it's like the command center for my life, when I open it up and I see all these different colors and all this responsibility and, you know, client calls and driving and soccer and, you know, everything that's on there, overnight with dad, you know, oh, my God, it's horrifying to look at your schedule on paper. I mean, I know you need to do it because you need to do it. Because you need to know what's going on. You need to know what's going on. But when you put everybody's stuff in one place, you just go, good Lord, how do I do this? It freaked us. You can't say that. I can't say that, but just suffice it to say it freaked me out when I did that.
I'm clearly not going to disagree with you. Because in the middle of everything, my daughter emails me her college calendar. Why I need to know this, I don't know.
Right. Allowing in the midst of my busy day.
We live.
Right, to worry about your college term paper, honey. Thank you for sharing.
You know, she goes, and I said, do I really need to know when your bio lab is? She goes, well, don't you want to know where I am? Like she's insulted because she's now in. And I said, you know, that was lovely for you to think of me that way.
Oh, yeah. You know, honey, after that 19-year tour of duty, yeah, I need to know the biology lab.
Right. But it is overwhelming. And, you know, I will admit I'm a color-coded person, so I like the yellows and pinks and blues to coordinate, which does get a little frightening. But if you then pick your favorite color, and I'll put it as orange, and orange is Ivy time, how much better does the calendar get?
Right. So, if there's some orange in there, even if there's a little bit.
Right. You know, now, I'll confess, I've had a gift certificate for a facial that a client gave me about 60 days ago that's still on my desk. So
oh, my God.
Right, okay. It's been a busy summer. If I make the commitment, once my younger one's back in school and my life is a little more balanced with a structured schedule again, I am going to make that appointment with the facial, and then I put it on the calendar and I highlight that as orange.
So I guess
That
what we take
calendar
away
is
from this,
looking better.
Christy, and I'm frightened of all 5'2" of you at this point, but if the great Ivy Slater, coaching extraordinaire, mother of two, cannot get that facial done in 60 days, Christy, I think we got to cut ourselves some slack.
I think so, too. I will.
You know, but thank you
And
for
I think
Ivy.
you're making a great point. We can't live in perfection. We could only live.
Oh,
No.
I like that.
I do like that.
I can live by that.
I could live by that, too. And who wants to be perfect? Anybody. If you're perfect, everybody hates you.
That's true.
Yeah. So
It's way too much stress trying to be perfect.
Oh, so Ivy, tell us, like, do you have a really good, funny coaching story? Like, my favorite coaching story is the realization when I was, and I'm an internet brand strategy coach, the realization was that two of my clients were having an affair with each other, unbeknownst that they both coached with me. And when they were having, you know, this tryst down in Florida, and I looked at one coaching number and the other one, I'm like, crap, this is the same hotel room. That's a tough one to top, but I'm wondering if you have any goodies.
I wouldn't even go there. I can't compete with that one.
Yeah, so far, you know, I've had a lot of coaches on the show. I've met a lot of coaches in my day. That's kind of a keeper.
That's definitely a top 10. I would say, you know what, I've had a lot of really fun experiences coaching. I've had a lot of adventure. I've had a couple of tragic moments that things have scared me, which is not a fun story.
No.
But I will say the greatest stories I've had is, like, a client will email me. A client recently was very apprehensive about going to a business conference and making it, you know, a successful situation for herself, and she's not all that comfortable, like the networking and the people. I said, well, you know, I'm here for you. I said, I don't just do coaching calls. We do packages here. That means I am here for you. It means you email me, you call me. So I got an email saying, I want you to know I'm at a bar having a blast with people I met at this conference. Love you from Toronto.
Isn't that the best? That you just made a difference.
That makes my day. That, you know, that we could impact people to help them grow is worth the reason of getting up for, the reason to negotiate all the craziness with the families and the calendars and your schedules and finding time for the facial or even just a walk some days. But that's the reason we do it.
Well, and nothing, you know, and I know this from, you know, being in business a long time, they can't pay you enough money to help someone. I mean, I could get paid more money.
Yes, they could.
You know, and I would love to get paid more money. But honestly, it's like, you know, I've pulled down some serious checks in my day. And when I think back, I can't even think what the amounts were. I don't remember what I spent it on. I remember going, wow, I earned that. That was really cool. But the things that stick with me are the emails or the things that people have thanked me for. And that's a big part of why Christy and I do this on Motherhood Talk Radio. We do it out of the goodness of our hearts and trying to help other moms navigate situations. Our guest today was Ivy Slater. You can Google her. You can call her. You can sign up for her newsletter. You can enjoy the wisdom of the show by looking at podcasts on TogiNet and iTunes of previous shows. My name is Sandra Beck. I am the host of Motherhood Talk Radio, along with Christy Holly. And for those of you out there, send out a prayer for Christy's car because it really needs it.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of Motherhood Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Christy Holly on TogiNet.com. Join us every